Welcome back to another edition of Music Monday from the podcast Nurture the Mind. I am your host, Poots, and we have yet again another music reaction on the channel. And for the first time ever on the channel, we are going to be reacting and reviewing the band Tool. So the reason that I am going to do Tool is I have a client of mine, Mr. Chad, and he is a really big fan of Tool, and he told me that I needed to check out more Tool stuff. So one of the suggestions that he gave to me is 46, and 2, I didn't see a music video, so it's just the audio version. I also have a best friend, Dakota Phillips, who is also really into Tool. So years ago, Dakota and we used to do actually what is called Music Monday, and him and I would send one song back and forth to each other, and we had the whole week to listen to it. We got it on Monday, and we would review it, we would dissect it, and then we would talk about our song choices by Sunday of that week. And when I roomed with Dakota up in Ames for 3 months, I think it was right around that time, Tool was actually dropping an album back in 2019. I've seen Maynard Keenan come on Joe Rogan and talk before, so I'm a little familiar with Maynard Keenan and Tool, and I know Maynard Keenan has 3 different bands, right? It's Tool, which is probably the biggest one that he's a part of, but then there's Pucifer, and then there is A Perfect Circle, I believe, something like that. And so I have a little bit of exposure to Tool, but honestly not a ton. I can't tell you any of their big songs. Who knows, maybe I'll listen to this song and I'll be like, wow, this sounds very familiar, like I have heard this somewhere. Chad and I very much relate to, having music interest. Our music interest could be a little bit different, but I am always open ears to any type of music. And I know that when I've listened to Tool in the past, there has been some songs where I was like, yo, that's really good. That's some good shit right there. So without further ado, we're going to get into it. It's Tool. The song is 46 and 2, and it's just the audio. There is no music video, even though I'm on YouTube. So let's see how this goes. It's a long song. It's 6 minutes and 4 seconds. I feel like Tool, from what I know, I feel like they have a lot of longer songs, which always makes me think of Metallica. Metallica, back in the day, they were the kings of doing long songs, very long intros that were just instrumentals, and it was this build up and this lead up to something greater. It was a whole experience. Another band I think that does really well with long songs is Sleep Token. That's more of a recent band in recent memory, because within the last 5 years or so, they have really taken off and taken the world by storm. Nonetheless, today's a brand new experience. It is Tool. Let's see how it goes. The instrumental already sounds familiar. Maybe I've heard it. Can't even hear what he's saying. Dude, this instrumental so far is a fucking trip. I've heard of this song. It didn't really hit until right there. God damn, dude. This instrumental is like ever changing. Oh. Jesus. Wow. Dude, that was an assault. That felt like a physical, verbal assault, but like in the best way possible. I caught some of the lyrics, but mainly I feel like, you know, what I'm going to talk about right away is the instrumental and just how it was ever changing. Like, it was a lot of the same sounds, but throughout 6 minutes in the track, there are so many changes, there are so many pitches, there are so many shifts. Like, it's just going all over the place. I'm gonna have to go to Genius and look up the lyrics, although I feel like I caught some of them, and it seems like it could be sensitive subject matter. He said something however many times about like crawling on his belly or something. And I think what he said is like wanting to change and like, when is it going to be his time? And, you know, believing in these insecurities and this delusions. I'll have to look at Genius and see what the actual lyrics are. But my goodness, that was a crazy song. So 6 years ago, did that come out in 2019? Is this off of the album that me and Dakota were somewhat listening to in 2019 up at our apartment? So the lyrics: join in my child and listen, digging through my old numb shadow. My shadow's shedding skin. I've been picking scabs again. I'm down, digging through my old muscles, looking for a clue. I've been crawling on my belly, clearing out what could have been. I've been wallowing in my own confused and insecure delusions. For a piece to cross me over or a word to guide me in, I want to feel the changes coming down. I want to know what I've been hiding. Yeah, those are some deep ass fucking lyrics. And wow, are they so relatable? At least for me and where I'm at in life. Today is the 28th of February as I'm recording. My birthday is March 21st. I will be 29 years of age. And this last year or so that I've gone through up and down has been really, really confusing. And it's been filled with a lot of ups and downs and different challenges. And here recently, I have felt pretty lost and pretty confused about my life and the direction that it's going to take, and trying to find meaning and purpose and joy and balance, and getting out of my head, to stop living in my head, to stop overthinking. And I feel like in a space like that, it's not always clear. It's not always clear that there is one answer, especially in today's world. Like, we live in a confusing time, and there's more possibilities than ever. I mean, if you go to social media, if you look at social media, there's so many options as to, you know, what you could do with your life. And I think it actually makes it way more overwhelming than it does as something that would be concrete. So at least right there, man, I feel those lyrics. My old numb shadow. I feel like when you're in this like transition phase in life and you realize, you know, maybe you've outgrown a previous situation, you could apply this to anything in life, but you don't know what's coming next. And so you're somewhere in this middle ground. And a lot of times, you know, that place, it makes you feel like you are stuck, or that you are in a prison, and it's really foggy and it's really cloudy, and it's a weird place to be, because again, there's probably just not any clear signs. And I don't know, as a human, 100% what you're supposed to do to get out of that place. I think probably what we all have to do, because we've all probably been there before, and we'll probably be in those situations at least a few different times in our life, probably multiple times. I think what we have to do, and I say this out loud because it's probably the advice that I need to give to myself, is that like, you have to be willing to take steps, and you have to be willing to make moves, even if you don't know ultimately what you want to do or where you want to go. By taking some type of step, if you are in a foggy forest and you are deeply embedded in the belly of the forest, the only way that you're going to get out is not, you can't stand there. You can't just sit still. You know, the fog is all around. Like, you're just going to have to get moving. And as you take one step, as you go down a path, again, maybe it's not the right path, but then you're going to see things a little bit more clearly. Like, you just have to keep moving. And in that process, I think that's where life starts to give us some answers. It's weird being in the 20s. It's not to say that there aren't other times in one's life where it is confusing. I'm assuming that's the case. And people older than me, whatever age they're at, maybe they're having a similar moment. I just feel like universally for most people, like getting through their 20s, I feel like it's the most confusing time in one's life. You're building, you're trying to set a foundation, everything is shifting, it's not concrete. I feel like it's a time where it's meant for all of us to make a bunch of mistakes, and then hopefully throughout that process, you know, we learn some lessons from what we went through in our 20s. So those lyrics hit pretty hard. My shadow's shedding skin. I've been picking scabs again. I'm down, digging through. My old muscles are looking for a clue. I've been crawling on my belly, clearing out what could have been. I've been wallowing in my own confused and insecure delusions. Those lines right there are so important for anybody feeling that way. But again, I can only speak for myself and where I'm at in my life and how confusing things feel right now. That's an important line to the human experience. For a piece to cross over me or a word to guide me in, I want to feel the changes coming down. I want to know what I've been hiding. I want to feel the changes coming down. Like, you just want to change. You desperately want to change. You desperately want to get out of this situation, these sets of circumstances that you're in. If you're feeling confused about your life and where it's headed and where it's going, for those people, for me, like, you just desire to feel the changes coming down. You want certainty. You want confidence. You want self-esteem. You want self-belief. You want self-worth. You want faith. You want to have an undying faith, and you want to have this sense of everything's going to be all right. Everything's going to be okay. But there's many times in life where it doesn't feel like that. As we go through more lyrics, it's somewhat of the same. In my shadow, changes coming through my shadow, shedding skin. I've been picking my scabs again, joining my child, my shadows, closer to meaning. I've been crawling on my belly, clearing out what could have been. I've been wallowing in my own chaotic. So he changed up the lyrics a little bit. Insecure delusions. I want to feel the change consume me, feel the outside turning in. I want to feel the metamorphosis and cleansing I've endured in. My shadow, change is coming. Now is my time. Listen to my muscle memory. Contemplate what I've been clinging to, 46 and 2 ahead of me. I still don't understand what that means, like why they called it 42 and 6. Like, what's the significance of that? I choose to live and to grow, take and give, and to move, learn and love, and to cry, kill and die, and to be paranoid, and to lie, hate and fear, and to do what it takes to move through. I mean, Maynard is saying what I just recently said. It all comes down to movement. You can't feel great about your life if you are stuck and you are choosing to just sit there and essentially take it. Again, if you're in a situation that needs to change, you're ready to move on from something, the longer that you stay there and you don't move on, it's a revolving door that just keeps coming around and keeps smacking you in the fucking face. And it doesn't feel better as time goes on. It's like, maybe the smack feels a little bit more dull, but you become so worn out, you become so exhausted and so tanked because there's something, if not multiple things, that are missing from your life. So in those lyrics right there, I mean, he's just highlighting the human experience. I mean, you get, as a human, you get to experience all those different things, all those different emotions. I choose to live. There was times in my life where I really felt like I was living, like I was alive. And to grow, there were times where I was definitely growing. Take and give, and to move, learn, and love, and to cry and kill and die, and to be paranoid and to lie, hate and fear, and do what it takes to move through. We've all been through, if you have enough life experience, you've been through all of those. You've experienced all of those moments. And that's why that line is so important, and it makes me think of meditation. This morning, since it's the weekend, it's Saturday, I slept in for a little bit, probably for like an hour. Like I had my alarm set at 7:30 and I was in bed until 8:30, and then for like the next 30 minutes I was just kind of checking my phone in bed. That's something that I never do. That's something that I don't normally do. I haven't slept in probably like over a month. So I didn't really feel bad that I was doing that per se, since it's the weekend and I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to make a habit out of it and do it like 10 days in a row. After I kind of got up and I got moving and started doing laundry at the house, every morning, usually within the first hour that I'm awake, I'll do meditation. So I have this guided meditation app on my phone. It's called Waking Up. And Sam Harris, if you guys know him, he's famous, he's popular. I don't know how popular he is now, but he was definitely getting steam and momentum probably 5 or 6 years ago. I mean, it was right around that time when I started to hear about him. He's been on Rogan before. He's had amazing conversations with Jordan Peterson. Like, I don't agree with his political views necessarily, but I will say, like, you know, he's a very intelligent person, a very smart man, and he's passionate about meditation. And when he starts talking about meditation, you know, I'm just hooked immediately. Just the way that he describes it with his philosophy and how he relates it to the human experience. Anyways, I've worked my way up to, on the guided meditation app, he leads all of them, so it's always his voice. You know, I started out with like 10 minutes, you know, like a year ago, like months ago, and then just slowly went up. I mean, you can literally go up and increase it by 1 minute per session. So now I'm doing 20 minutes per session, and I feel like this morning my meditation session was actually really good. You know, sometimes you're going to sit down and you're going to meditate and it's not going to do anything for you. You're not going to feel any type of relaxation. You're not going to feel calmed down. You know, your headspace is still going to be rushed. That's part of life, right? Again, like nothing's going to be perfect. But then you do have sessions where it's kind of like you see all of your thoughts super clearly for how they actually are. And I love that he gives, like in the guided meditation, Sam Harris gives you a bunch of silence in those 20 minutes to really meditate. But throughout those 20 minutes, he also talks a little bit, goes on a little bit of like monologues. See, now I'm losing the point. Like, how am I trying to relate this? Okay, so I just read, you know, those sets of lyrics and how we've all experienced that. It makes me think of meditation through those lyrics, because literally what Sam Harris was saying today in my guided meditation session, think of all the times in your life where you were distracted, you experienced joy, laughter, you cried, you were anxious, you were nervous, you were paranoid. This is all a function of our mind and the thoughts that our minds produce. And then with that, you get subsequent feelings and emotions and really just mental states. And like, this is something that Sam Harris will harp on in these guided meditation sessions through this app, is that everything is coming and going. The problem with us humans, and especially the digital age that we live in now, and we're so distracted by notifications, pings, our devices, checking notifications left and right, is like you're not from no structured meditation, but also the environment that we live in of constant distractions. You and I and all of us in large part are not giving our brains that desired quiet time to really find space, to really meditate, and ultimately, if you don't like the word meditate, to have some type of mindfulness. I think everybody can relate to this, right? When everything gets so chaotic in your headspace, it feels like there is no space. It feels like you are your thoughts. It feels like you are synonymous with your thoughts and your insecurities because they're popping up. They're just going boom, 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 just rising to the surface. And we all know this with the human brain. It's a remarkable supercomputer and organ in the brain, but it also causes a lot of stress and a lot of demise in our lives. And we attach ourselves a lot of times to our thoughts, and we believe that our thoughts are reality, but we know that that's nonsense, and we know that that's not true. Because I could be sitting here right now in this room that I'm in, and as I'm recording, like let's say I have some type of crazy intrusive thought, because on this wall right here, it's a bunch of windows. What if I have this like thought where I'm like, it'd be interesting if I just ran myself through that window and like jumped out of the building. I had the thought, but it's such an absurd thought, and I don't have to carry the thought out. But we have whatever type of thoughts it can be, and because we have no separation, we have no distance in our minds, we believe it as if it's true, as if it's real, as if it's telling us the truth. And so Sam Harris, he just always tries to get you to think in a different way. And like this morning, I don't know why, it just like set in a little bit more to me. Everything is rising and everything is disappearing. All the things that I worried about in the past when I was younger, those thoughts, those waves of those thoughts, those feelings and those emotions, they came. They probably impacted me too much. And then they left. And now I'm at a different situation, a different turning point in my life. So the things that are bothering me now are attached to currently what I'm going through. Will meditation solve all of your problems? No. It's going to help you feel more mindful. It's going to help you feel more present, and it's going to help you feel more focused and less distracted. But there is a flip side to that coin. There's nuance with every situation and topic in life, because I'm a person that will get obsessive, intrusive, reoccurring thoughts, and they're really hard to shake. If you get those types of thoughts and they're not leaving you alone, and it's about something significant in your life, if you need to leave a job, if you need to leave a bad relationship, if you need to have a hard conversation, if you got to do something that requires courage, what I am finding out right now, relearning the lesson, I guess you could say, is that your brain will not leave you alone until you take some type of action against that thought. I don't know if it's like deeply embedded into our conscious thinking, but that is something different than meditation. Meditation is gonna make you feel more calm. It's gonna make you feel more relaxed and content and present and just like in this moment. And so I would push for everybody to do that. But there is a difference that if you get reoccurring, obsessive, intrusive thoughts, depending on what those thoughts are telling you about the circumstance in your life, those are the ones I think that you should really pay attention to and then act against or act on them, because when you do that, that will provide you some type of relief. But those set of lines right there that I just recently read, that just makes me think of meditation. I think it's a beautiful analogy to those lyrics. I choose to live and to lie, kill and give, and to die, learn and love, and to do what it takes to step through. So he's changing up the lyrics a little bit, piece by piece. See my shadow changing, stretching up and over me, soften this old armor, hoping I can clear the way by stepping through my shadow. Coming out the other side, step into the shadow. 46 and 2 are just ahead of me. Is he saying the 46 and 2? Like he was closing in on turning 46? Is it like an age thing? Is it related to age? I'm not on Genius, and usually Genius lyrics will kind of tell you what's going on with the lyrics. All we have here on YouTube with the audio is just the lyrics. I don't have like any context. But yeah, man, that was an incredible song. I mean, the sonic elements, it sounded really good. Going through it on the first listen, I couldn't hear all of the lyrics, but now that I read through them, I'm like, oh my God, man, like they are applicable to my life, and I imagine they are applicable to so many people's lives out there. I don't think we realize in this current climate, and maybe you do, but just how far we get into our own heads and how we overthink and we believe, like he said in there, the delusions of our insecurities. Everybody's got insecurities. Everybody's got self-doubt. Everybody experiences anxiety, nerves, and fear. The hardest thing to convince the mind to do is to act in spite of whatever you're fearful of. And it might be something that's just ongoing for the rest of our lives. I feel like 2019 was a really hard time in my life. That's where all of like my mental health struggles started to accumulate. And then after going to therapy, changing things up in my life, getting out of some bad situations, things got better. And I was pretty stable all the way up until sometime last year, and I've gone back and forth, like I said, since last year. But now I'm kind of seeing that here we are in 2026, and I'm having another tough moment, and I have to take away any type of judgment, shame, guilt, or feeling bad about myself because of what I'm going through. It's like, man, like I was pretty stable and whatnot for 6 years. So here's a little bit of a challenge in life. Like nobody on this earth is immune to going through challenges, struggles, adversity, pain. And like Maynard says in there, just wanting the metamorphosis to take place. I think a lot of people can relate to if at times in your life where you felt like you were starting to make concrete changes and you started to become this new person. You chase that feeling because it feels so amazing and memorizing and life-changing. I've had moments like that. I've had spurts like that. That's the duality. That's the flip side of the coin. That's what we're talking about with meditation, as it resembles some of the lyrics in this song. Meditation is realizing your mental state and how crazy the thoughts can be and how fragmented they can be. But when we get good at meditation, when we practice on a consistent basis, when we limit our screen time, when we get back into our lives and connect with other humans, you start to see that a lot of your thoughts are bullshit. And with that dissonance, with that discernment, you are able to take back control and stock in your own life. So I didn't realize this song was going to get that deep, but I have to thank you, Chad. I have to thank you, Dakota. These are two people in my life that have turned me on to Tool. And I feel like every time I've listened to Tool, like it's been a good experience. After listening to this, doing this reaction, I'm like, I want to listen to more Tool. So guys, that's the reaction, that's the video. Without further ado, I'm gonna dip out. Before we leave, there are 4 things that I ask that you guys do. You don't have to do all 4, but please do one of the 4. If you came over here, if you enjoyed the reaction, if it was entertaining, if you thought it provided value, if it was funny, if it made you think. Number 1, please subscribe to the channel. Number 2, like the video. Number 3, comment in the comment section below. Number 4, share the message via social media or word of mouth with other people. We call it a value exchange over here. I provide value. I record, give you my most honest, genuine, real, authentic thoughts. And for me doing that, putting in the time and the effort, you guys push the message out there so we can grow this channel, so we can grow this community over here. Trying to get to 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. So please help me out with that, guys. As always, I appreciate you guys, and I will see you on the next video reaction podcast, vlog, whatever it turns out to be. Adios.